You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Bro Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Questions about COVID. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the main public face of the federal response to the coronavirus pandemic, is at a House Oversight Committee hearing starting now about the response and COVID-19's origins. New York House Republican Nicole Malliotakis on Fox and Friends First.
Dr. Fauci did not want the public to know what was going on and that there was a lack of transparency.
Michigan House Democrat Debbie Dingell says Republicans running the committee are ignoring the job it's supposed to be doing.
The actual work of preventing and preparing for future pandemics. To lead, instead, what they have done is led a crusade against Dr. Fauci.
Transcripts of closed-door interviews earlier this year were released on Friday. Jury selection's underway for Hunter Biden's federal gun trial. His father says in a statement, "As the president, I don't and won't comment on pending federal cases, but as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength." First Lady Jill Biden's attending her stepson's trial today in Wilmington, Delaware. Fighting continues between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, with a ceasefire proposal neither accepted nor fully rejected yet.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken told Israeli Minister Benny Gantz, a member of the country's war cabinet, a ceasefire proposal would advance Israel's long-term security interest and unlock the possibility of calm along Israel's border with Lebanon. President Biden announced the contours of a multi-phase ceasefire and hostage release proposal last week that was made by Israel to Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing pressure from both ends of his coalition government about the deal, with two right-wing members threatening to topple the government if the deal is accepted. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Police in Nashua, New Hampshire, have shot and killed a man armed with a handgun in the parking lot of a Lowe's home improvement store. They've not said what led to an officer firing his gun. America's listening to Fox News.
Well, the weather's warming up and summer's just around the corner. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people, you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain.
Here's your chance to win a pair of tickets and more to Def Leppard's Summer Stadium Rock Tour. Featuring Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller Band. Enter this code into your KPEL 96.5 app. And don't forget, the more entries you put in, the more chances you have to win. Ready for your chance to win? Open up the KPEL app and enter the code JOURNEY, where you see Summer Stadium Rock Tour Journey. JOURNEY. That is the code for 9 a.m. for your chance to win tickets to see Def Leppard, Journey, and the Steve Miller Band this summer.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Louisiana.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Hi, I'm Kristen Chenoweth. When many servicemen and women return home, They carry with them the invisible wounds of war. But thanks to the life-saving power of the human-animal bond, professionally trained service dogs can help. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots program, which provides specially trained service dogs free of charge to veterans in need. Let's help our veterans heal from the invisible wounds of war.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, hello. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. What a great day. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program and have an opportunity to be a voice. It is a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. By the way, great day, weekend of baseball. LSU Tigers fighting for, if they win. Arizona got whooped. If the Tigers can pull this off, I think it's going to be tough on them. I do think they can win it. But, I hope they score a lot of runs. I feel better when they score a lot of runs. And kudos to all the team. Grambling got knocked out in 2 games. Louisiana Tech. Did Louisiana Tech get knocked out in 2 games? I think Nichols got knocked out in 2 games. Tulane ended up playing again, but they ended up getting knocked out. The Cajuns lost last night. They'd have won. They would have played today. Who am I missing? Grambling, Tech, Nichols, Tulane, UL, LSU. So LSU's the only one left standing, and like I said, hope they can pull it out. But boy, I tell you what, they played well last night, and boy, I tell you what, Walker, North Carolina had bases loaded like 2 or 3 times. I mean, and the Tigers pulled it out. So today's a new day. It's baseball. It's a different game every day. It's a different game every inning. I love it. I love it the best. It's just a lot of fun to watch. Pitching's change, strategy. A ball hits a bag last night, all part of it. Tigers tried to walk them back into it in the last couple of 3 innings, and by the grace of God, they were able to get out of that. So anyway, 5. I think they played 5 today. 5 o'clock. Okay, so I'll get a chance. Boy, hopefully I'll be home by 5. I want to get a chance to watch that. Hopefully they can pull it out, but they playing at North Carolina. You got to beat them there twice. They lost 3 games there all year. It's still an uphill climb for the Tigers. But, hey, man, it's baseball. If they can get through this one. Somebody asked me earlier about what about next week's saving pitch? Man, can we use jump? Use everybody. You realize, and I try to live like this, there ain't no next weekend. It's what you do today. There ain't no tomorrow. It's what you do today. But when I learned how to live like that by the grace of God, it changed my life. I was back 30 years ago. And it just changed my life. I'm going to live for the day. I'm going to do the best I can today. You're still planning for tomorrow. I didn't say you didn't do all of it, but I'm just telling you, if you can grab the moment for the day, man, I got today. It's a great day to be alive. Thank God. I'm hoping the Tigers can just seize the day. Next week will take care of itself. By the way, that's biblical. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Tomorrow I have enough troubles of its own. Today is the only day you have. If you believe in Jesus Christ and the Bible, that's how we should live. Today, when the sun came up, I got out of bed. I said, thank you, Lord. Spend time praising him. It's an amazing walk if you can learn to live a day. And here's the problem. You can't learn it in a day. You have to learn it over time. things we worry about that don't matter. Anyway, here I am getting preaching. I hope I'm not preaching. I hope I'm teaching. But anyway, pulling for LSU, they're the last, at 6 schools in the tournament, and we one standing. They got to do it today, though. And if they do, then it'll be an exciting time next weekend. But it's all about today. Next week never happens if the Tigers don't win today. So I hope their bats are rolling. Maybe they'll get a pitching gym. The kid that threw yesterday, Thatcher Hurd. He struggled all year. But I tell you what, he did better than they were anticipating. And they've been getting about 2 innings out of him. Great kid, good stuff. They got almost 6 innings. And with a fluke, they had a guy thrown out at first base, Walker. He missed a bag on a play that he covered, and then a couple bad walks. He could have gotten out of it. They wouldn't have had the big inning that they did have. But there's some other innings they could have got too. So anyway, it's all fun. It's all fun. Somebody called me last and said, boy, sometimes it's hard to watch LSU pitch and all that. And they said, drink heavy. You know that crazy woman in New Iberia? I ain't going to mention her name, Walker. That's her. She said, you got to be able to drink when you watch them. I said, nah, I ain't going to do that. I enjoy the games too much. Anyway, and she's already texted me, go Tigers. Can you believe that? All right. All right, folks, session ending today. There's definitely going to be some victories for Jeff Landry and the conservatives, no doubt. Like I said the other day, I think on the cultural, social side, educational side, there's some big, big victories. The Black Caucus is trying to still cause problems for Cade Brumley today to be confirmed. Cade Brumley, of course, the devil's advocate played right into it, with their holier-than-thou attitude about him. Ideological content has no place in Louisiana public schools. Where was that when Bill Edwards, I'm just asking, where was the devil's advocate when Bill Edwards was trying to allow little boys to go into girls' bathrooms? Where was that article from the devil's advocate protecting young girls from bellboy? You didn't see that in an article. That's ideology that a boy can be a girl and go in a girl's bathroom. There was no article from the devil's advocate saying, Bill, you're wrong, get out of the way. No. Where's the articles from all the other craziness they're trying to put in schools and the libraries and things of that nature? There's no articles. See, the devil's advocate has become they're as left-wing as CNN. John George's devil advocate is as left-wing as CNN. It is no difference between them and CNN. There's absolutely no different from the John George's newspaper. It is as leftist and Looney Tune as the rest of them. So here comes Cade. Cade Brumley has been a big reason why education looks like it's trying to change. But when the Cleo Fields and his group get all excited about something, the devil's advocate go running over there to bail them out. They bail out Bail when Taylor Barrow was the Speaker of the House. They bail out Bail on everything Bail wanted to do. And now Bail's making money on green new craziness. It's just stupid what they're trying to do, but this is what they do. So they did a piece today, perfect timing. Actually, they did it yesterday. Sunday's the only time people read that drag. Ideological content has no place in Louisiana's public schools. We worry, though, that Brumley embrace of controversial produce of educational content. There's nothing controversial except what's been made by the left. We share critics' concern that some of the idea promoted on PragerU's videos not only mislead, but so ideological division over how to interpret our nation's complicated past. It's history. They're quoting people like Frederick Douglass and what they said. We got the left trying to rewrite history, and here comes the devil's advocate standing up for the left. As usual, that's what they do. Who's starting this crap is always the left and people that vote on the left. So they got videos. So what? The videos are really good. There's a lot of great videos here, but what they do is they always go pick one or two things. Bell Edwards wanted boys to be in the girls' bathrooms in schools. Bell Edwards wanted young kids to get their penises taken off at 10 years old. That's what Bell wanted. Not one time did the devil's advocate raise a hand against that. Not one time. Cade Brumley has been godsend. And by the way, I got some inside information for you that the Black Caucus, which is a big liberal group, and the liberal leftist Looney Tunes in our legislature are trying to go after Cade Brumley and stop him. They persecuting him, attacking him for doing what's right. He's been great. Also, this PragerU, they talk about something the left hates, American exceptionalism. That's why they just stick to race all the time. Race. It's election year. That's all they got. The battle's in the Senate, folks, as usual. Weak Senate. By the way, Kenny Lofton faces confirmation, Office of Juvenile Justice. Look, he inherited a dumpster from Bell Edwards for 8 years, a dumpster fire. Okay? A dumpster fire from Edwards not doing stuff right. Been through 5 or 6 secretaries in the last 4 years. This guy's coming in trying to do the right thing. They want to beat him back, too. Big decline in facility incidents, 0 escapes, saving the state money, and yet the same group of people and the same devil's advocate want to get rid of everybody. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch. But anyway, that's one of the many things that's going to happen. It's the last day. They end at 6 o'clock. You're going to hear about how they run out of time. We didn't have time to do anything. Hell, they were off not this past weekend. They were off Saturday. They were off Friday evening, Saturday, and some of Sunday. And the week before that, they were off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They were off over 50% of the time. They weren't in the legislature, especially the Senate. You're going to look at the records. That's all. Don't take my word for it. Look at it yourself. But there's going to be some victories. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to see how this education savings accounts works because I think it's stripped down. I think it's stripped down too much and become more of a study. And that's what Rick Edmonds in the Senate, they wanted to study. Man, how many? And they want to study because they can delay it because the money hellhole's coming next year. We ain't got no money. We spent it all in the last 8 years on the bill. Let's take a break. 844-766-6607. Oh, at 10:32, Climate Czar had to go back to the dumbest article I've seen Bob Marshall ever write. And the devil's advocate is I read that. I just was shocked that a guy's allowed to even have a pen and paper to write the crazy crap he writes about the climate. Anyway, we'll get to all that as the program unfolds. Your calls are welcome. From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwoods stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see their stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1.
Need guidance and
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, 844-766-6607. By the way, HB 977, I'm taking it all past. It lets the governor go out and seek the official journal for the state instead of the devil's advocate. Man, that governor needs to pick another one besides the advocate. That's money that goes with that. Jeff, Governor Landry, please, if this thing gets through, please pick somebody besides the devil's advocate. They got plenty of money. They're out there getting, well, I don't know, but I think they get money on this Green New Deal and Soros people. So I'm just telling you, if the governor can pick someone else besides the devil's advocate, I would pick him. And I wouldn't even hesitate. I wouldn't even hesitate to pick somebody else besides this very biased, left-wing, nutted-up newspaper like the Devil's Advocate. I mean, I wouldn't even give them a chance at all. You don't need that. Them and the Illuminated, run from them because they're not going to tell you the truth anyway. I mean, I'm glad I saw that deal. Education savings account, stripped-down version. I'm just going to share with you what a little bit I know on it. It ain't going to start for a year or so. The bill compromise version delay implementation of the plan to make it easy for legislators to scale back in funding. So we got something we passed, something that's going to take funding, something that's been watered down, and something that we're already looking at how to scale back the funding on something that's not funded. That sounds like Louisiana. We're past this thing, and even though it's not going to be funded, we're going to have ways to make sure we scale back the funding. Does that sound like ESAs? And that's not what I've been reading about and what I've been told, not the guests that I talked to. Start ESAs, delay it, study it, and then find out a way we can scale back. State officials and private experts said $300 to $500 million. The compromise version of the bills on state education officials is study the existing educational resource. That's nice. Another study. Ain't that cool? Golly, another study. We don't have no studies in Louisiana. To study to determine the need for the savings plan and then work with lawmakers on funding levels. Jeff's going to sign the bill, I get it. We're going to do a study on how to do this. We're going to put it back a year. And then part of the study is to find out a plan to make it easier to scale back the funding. I tell you what, when I read something like that, I go, golly, Shazam. Because somebody's going to have to explain that to me. Because I can't understand that. We got something, we're starting new, we're going to push it back, we're going to study it, and part of the study is to make it easy for the legislature to scale back the funding of something that's not funded. That really sounds like a plan. Woo, I'm buying into this one. I'm investing everything I got into this plan. The original plan is what they should have passed. Rick Edmonds has proposed a similar plan in Senate Bill 313, overhauled it through a set of amendments that called for the study, which will be completed by December 1st. So Rick says this will give us the data that we're looking for to make certain we can move forward correctly. A lot of data, I think, brings a lot of comfort to folks. Yep. Especially the part on how to scale back the funding. And there's no funding mechanism in it. And here's the kicker, though. You ready for it, folks? Now we're going to get to this honesty. The delay also gives legislators more time to see what happens to state revenues and decide how much money to vote to the plan. Because we got a 0.45 that everybody's telling me we're going to take off. I don't think we will. And if we take it off, I think it's going to be delayed over 4 or 5 years. Well, it shouldn't happen, but it probably will happen because that's what we do here. We don't want to do anything in big leaps. We want to do, quote, steps in the right direction because that gets us so far up the road compared to other states. So anyway, that's what's going on. There's some bills. I know Alan Seaball, Mallory, they got some bills for some tort reform that were passed. One of them in particular, we're going to see if the governor will sign it because there's, I guess, 50-50. He'll sign it or not sign it. 50-50. And it's a bill he needs to sign. Some people say, well, the trial lawyers don't get mad. Good. Let them get mad for a change. So we'll see what else comes from it, folks. 844-766-6607. You're listening to The Moon Griffon Show, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com. Folks, it's May, so Schumacher Homes is making deals. Have you ever thought about building your dream home? No time like today to start building. My friends over at Schumacher Homes want to help make your vision come true with their newest special offer. You ready? Now through May 31st, save up to $50,000 on your custom home. You heard me right. $50,000 on your custom homes. All you got to do is go to SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. They take you from the start to finish, and they know what they're doing, and they're great. They have built so many homes. Schumacher Homes wants to help you turn your custom homes into the dream you've always wanted by, guess what? Saving up to $50,000 on options, upgrades to get a home that was designed just for you, your custom home. No pressure in the process means no appointment is necessary to tour the model homes. Go by and check them out or stop by the self-guided tour and start visualizing yourself in a Schumacher home. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Save up to $50,000 on options. That's awesome. Your custom home. Schumacher Home.
Everywhere you
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. The only thing that I haven't seen yet, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of it, but is I don't see anybody bragging about a constitutional convention we're going to have. Cleo Field shut that down on, it was House Bill, Senate Bill, 800, House Bill 800. Cleo said, we ain't touching that. Well, Cleo should have never been put in that position to say that. That's the problem with that. Cleo Field should have never been put in a position to say that. Also, hemp legislation. The hemp industry out there, man, they got money. They got tons of money. They probably going to get everything they want if the truth is known. But here's the problem. I'm getting the word it's all in Senator Cameron Henry's hands now. This is what I meant by everybody knows. They got a great article, and I ain't got to it yet, from the Hayride about have the Republicans finally woken up about putting these Democrats. You win with a 2/3 votes in the House and Senate. We don't want to see a Democrat that's ahead of a committee, a chair. None. They should never be ahead of a committee chair. By the way, I got an article on Republicans that did the same thing in Texas. So remember, Cameron put several, and so did the Speaker of the House, DeVille. So here we go. We got a bill. It's going through pretty good. Dustin Miller, head of Health and Hospitals, liberal, leftist, woke Democrat. Okay? He stripped Presley's good amendments sent to conference. Henry and DeVille would determine the conference and determine the outcome. Dustin Miller now has the power of the pen and now wants to rewrite his own amendment to expand hemp, to go into bars and the restaurant, to put THC now in bars and restaurants. It's Cameron Henry's hand to stop this. But if Dustin Miller's not sitting the head of health and hospitals, let's don't get there. When are we going to grow up as Republicans, you Republicans? And I'm not talking about elected officials. I mean, I'm talking about elected officials, not just the average Republican. Why did y'all elect him again? Did y'all elect him to put Dustin Miller, the head of health and welfare? For Dustin Miller to put his own amendment to expand more synthetic THC in bars and restaurants? Is that what we're doing? Dustin Miller should have never got a chairmanship. Neither should have Cleo Fields or any other liberal woke Democrat. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all for a while. You don't do that. It always comes back to bite you in the derriere. Always. Not sometimes, not every now and then, always. You don't give people power when the people did not vote for them to have power. They didn't do it. They didn't vote for them to have power. You don't give them power. Barack Obama looked at John McCain and said, losing has consequences. How come losing doesn't have consequences with Democrats in the state of Louisiana? I'm just asking the question. So you think, well, we're the only state doing it. No, Texas. Majority of incoming Texas House Republicans call for an end to Democratic committee chairs. They shouldn't have been doing it anyway. They lost. You don't see the Democrats reaching out to Republicans. A group of 46 Republican House members and nominees pledged Friday to only back a speaker next session who commits to ending the tradition of appointing a Democrat committee chair, a move that narrows the path for the gavel to Speaker Dade Phelan, who has vowed to continue the long-standing practice. Folks, you don't do that. We're in a different time than it was 10 and 20 years ago. Reaching across the aisle destroys Republicans every time, because when a Democrat has power, their job is to kill, steal, and destroy. Man, it's just, why do you do this? Why? I thought there was if there's no difference between the parties, why do we have parties? If there's so different between the parties, then don't have a party, then it's okay, I get it. But I'll never understand, this is why I'm not in the party, these Republican elected officials that keep getting elected and do things that are basically Democrat. Except this, Democrats are way better than Republicans in a foxhole. Democrats, when you vote for them, they going to do what they told you they're going to do. Not Republicans. Republicans hand power back to Democrats. It seems to be all over the country. Then why are you a Republican? If I was the Speaker of the House or the Senate President, there wouldn't be one Democrat in a chair or co-chair. If I had 2/3 of the vote in the House and Senate, every committee would have a minimum of 2/3. And if I had to make a decision, it'd be 3/4. They lost. That's mean. That's hateful. How do you expect to get anything done? Because if you got all these so-called conservative Republicans, you should not even have to call a Democrat and ask them what they think. Let them come beg you to get some bills passed. Let them come beg you for money. That's what you ought to do. Folks, it's a war. Spiritual war, I get it, but it's a war. You reach across, every time we reach across the aisle, not every now and then, every time we reach across the aisle, we lose. Every time we reach across the aisle, we get beat on something important. Oh, we pass all the stuff on social, on schools, and moral values, and all. We pass all that stuff easily. But the business part and the money part, that needs to be just as strong. But we don't. So Texas is doing the same thing Louisiana's been doing. And they said it's a tradition. Well, you know, folks, we've been having bipartisanship and tradition in this state hundreds of years. Where has it gotten us? People sent a message last year. They sent a strong, solid message. We don't want any more of the same thing we've been seeing all these years. We want to be different. We want to make the case of changing the state of Louisiana. The message was sent by the voters. You turn around and give Cleo Fields and Dustin Miller and liberals and woke people power only for them to slap you in the face? Jeff Landry's Constitutional Convention, I don't care if you believe it or not, Jeff Landry's Constitutional Convention was stopped by the man who got a free go to Congress card only to knife you and slap you in the back. And they're also doing it to Cade Brumley, Dr. Brumley. And any other bill that they can use, they doing it. Why? I'm going to ask y'all again. Why have a Republican Party that you went out and sold your message that you were going to be conservative, you were going to do something about the budget, tax reform, insurance, everything, only to, what are they going to tell you next? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Watch Parr, watch cable, watch lobby, watch some of the people in that comment. Well, we made great step in the right direction. We got steps in the right direction. When they tell you that means we didn't do a dang thing. But we sure can tell you we did something. So you can vote for me next time so I can go back to Baton Rouge or Washington, D.C. and do what we always do, which is don't fix anything. That's what I say. By the way, did y'all see this? Donald Trump arrives at UFC 302, thunderous applause days after conviction. You watched that the other night? Did you see that part of it? Were they going nuts? They were also hollering F-bomb Joe Biden. You saw that too? Was it the applause was gigantic, huh? Yeah. I didn't watch it. I got somebody that was there. I'm trying to get in touch with him. They said, man, what an applause for Donald Trump. People know. That's why they got to put him in jail, folks. The only other option they have from putting him in jail is doing something that I pray to God they don't do to him. I'm going to leave it at that. They got to put him in jail now. They got to get him off the campaign. They got to put him in jail. The left has to put him in jail. People will vote for him. If he's on the ballot in jail, I'm going to vote for him. I have no problem with that because I know this is a sham trial, big time. By the way, let's take a break. 844-766-6607. It is a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
This thing on. This thing on. Look at here. I got something I want to say.
This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, Hudco Roofing. Now, I know we all want a roof over our heads, but not just any roof. We want one that can withstand Louisiana's wild weather. That's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the top dogs in the business. Whether you need repairs or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there are no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the fortified roofing system, and that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Hudco specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings, serving all of Louisiana. Get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing right now. Go to HudcoRoofing.com. That's HudcoRoofing.com. Fill out the form, and someone will get right back to you. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so should you. That's HudcoRoofing.com. Whenever I'm in Shreveport, I always make a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. Their menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, the best margaritas in the state, and more. You can go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, the new location in Lafayette is opening soon on College Saloon. Lafayette, you're in for a huge treat when Superior Grill opens on College Saloon. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and opening soon in Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I'll see you at Superior Grill.
Do you crave off?
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice. Miss Venable. Is this Lana Venable?
It is, Moon. Good morning.
Lana, how you doing, sugar?
Doing well. We're almost to the end of this very long session.
Okay, you're going to have to, first of all, explain to us. I want the good, bad, and ugly. I want to know what you feel like has happened that you think is going to make a difference. I know you're dealing with tort reform, judicial hellhole, and then maybe some things that you're not too sure about, and maybe some things that were killed that you're upset about. So you got the floor right now.
All right. Well, thank you, Moon. That's a lot to cover, but as you know, and we appreciate how much you've been talking about this important issue. It's easy for, I think, the general public to get lost in the term tort reform, but this is something that's affecting every single one of us every single day. You just mentioned that we're a judicial hellhole. Every single person in Louisiana is paying about $1,000 in a hidden tort tax, and that's what happens when all these costs are passed down to all of us. You see all the billboards and commercials, I got so-and-so got me this and so-and-so got me that, and these advertisements everywhere. Well, that doesn't happen in a vacuum. When those exorbitant verdicts are handed down, those awards are handed down, we're paying for that via the cost of goods and services going up to accommodate for those huge jackpots. So legislatively, our group has really been working with Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse and other allies down at the Capitol for a long time in trying to bring much-needed reforms to bear for our citizens. And, of course, the cost of insurance is the biggest thing that everyone is continuing to see rise to the point that, now we really are in a full-blown insurance crisis. There were a number of bills that were proposed. I want to really talk today about two in particular.
Okay.
We work very closely with Representative Emily Chenevert from Baton Rouge on a bill that would address third-party litigation funding. And so I know we've talked about this before, Boone, as well, but this is where third parties can actually become financiers of a lawsuit and not be disclosed. So, for instance, if you and I were sued and there was a third party interest in the outcome of that case, we would not be allowed presently to know who's bankrolling that lawsuit against us, which is really crazy. And at the federal level, it's becoming an issue. It's really becoming more of a national security issue as well. So we need to know, from a good government standpoint, we need to know who is involved in our judicial system and what's going on in terms of these cases. And then obviously, just you and me, individuals and businesses deserve to know who is suing us and who stands to benefit from the outcome of that. So Representative Chenevier's bill unfortunately never made it out of Jude. But Senator Stein had another bill that was very similar that just addressed specifically foreign interests. So we want to thank everyone that's been involved in a compromise. Representative Chenevier, Senator Stein, Representative Furman, and the conferees. They have come up with a compromise that we can live with. It makes these funders discoverable versus providing automatic disclosure. So doesn't tell you up front, but basically, if you ask, you can find out who is bankrolling that lawsuit against you. So not everything that we wanted, but definitely a solid compromise that we can live with.
Okay.
Another one. Please interrupt me, man.
No. I want you to keep going. I want you to tell me what's good, what's bad, what's ugly. That's why I wanted you to call.
Okay, well, you got it. Next up, this is the one that I would say we're more worried about, and I know you've been talking about this this morning on your show and earlier with Brian Haldane in Baton Rouge, but we're probably a bit more concerned about the collateral source legislation Representative Mellerin authored. That's House Bill 423. So the current law actually allows a plaintiff to recover damages that far exceed the actual liability for their medical care, as well as any cost of health insurance premiums that have already been paid. So, the goal really here should be to become whole after an accident, not to really just cash out. And that's what we're trying to address here. So providers typically have negotiated rates with insurance companies, and they also have other discounts, write-offs, that right now are not allowed into evidence. So when a jury is looking at what's happened maybe after an accident, they're only seeing, in essence, the sticker price. They're not seeing what was actually paid out. So there's a big difference there. We've, without getting into too many details, there have been some percentages there that have been adjusted. There has been a compromise made there as well, because you and I both know it's almost impossible to make it all the way through the legislative process without having to give up something. So this bill does reflect a compromise, but it's still effective, and we still think that this is a good thing for Louisiana.
Atlanta,
again, bringing more transparency.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with any of that, but aren't you a little disappointed in the fact that some of this stuff should have passed, not amended, and hadn't been compromised? I know where you stand from, that we talked last week. Any victory you're going to take because you feel like you pushed the needle a little bit, but with having a 2/3 House and Republicans in the House and Senate, it just don't seem like it should have been that hard to get everything we needed. Now, I'm just making a comment. You don't have to comment on it if you don't want to, but that's my frustration with it is I get why you saying, hey, we had to do this, we had to do that, but don't you think it's a shame that we still saying we had to do this and we had to do that? I'm just asking because I feel like we should be saying, hey, look at the gigantic changes that are coming. That's what me and you ought to be talking about. That's not cutting anybody. That's a fact.
Florida.
Yeah, like Florida.
Just did this last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't have these kind of compromises. I hear you completely.
Well, you know why I say that?
I couldn't agree with you more.
You know why I say that? It's not just on this, so I want to make sure we're talking about. I just got from a friend of mine, Alabama, this had nothing to do with you. Passed their ESAs up to $7,000, starts the following school year, and we had to compromise and do a study. That's all. I'm just saying we don't ever take a big leap.
Right.
I think the stuff you're talking about is good. We need some big, big, big wins. And I know that's not the way it works. You explained that. Moon, you got to do it. But it shouldn't be that way with 2/3 in the House and the Senate being Republican. That's all. Florida does it. Alabama does it. But, Louisiana, we just move along very little.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Moon. It is very frustrating, and I know you've had a lot of these legislators on as well that worked really, really hard. They've done their research. Yep. They've looked at what other states do, but yeah, still here we are. It is frustrating, especially when you see, Texas right next door to us tackled comprehensive legal reform, tort reform about 30 years ago, and they now have the number one business climate in the state. They were just ranked that again recently. And here we are. We're still a judicial hellhole. We have people, that already are struggling to make ends meet. We're paying all the additional money and hidden tort taxes. We're losing jobs. We're losing revenue to our local and state governments, all because of this. So I agree. And, honestly, it really shouldn't even have to be a partisan issue. This is common sense, good government, and my organization is nonpartisan. We're a watchdog group, and we have about 20,000 members across the state, and these are people who are fed up, and I believe that, we had an opportunity this year to really take the lead and make some really significant changes, and I know you hate that we're moving in the right direction.
I do.
And I agree with you.
Because I don't think it does anything in the big picture. And then you got to come back and come back and come back and come back. Session's over now. We're not doing anything the next year. You see what I'm saying? No, another year. That's why I make that comment. And I've been watching this Atlanta for a long time.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, man. And all I can tell you is that we will be back. We're going to keep pushing this big old elephant up the hill till we get to the top.
Yeah. My problem is
it's tough when you're fighting the trial bar.
Every time you got to push the elephant up the hill, it seems like that we pushing from the back end and the back end unloads on us. I'm sorry, it's just a visual I just saw. Anyway, no, I know y'all gonna work hard and you won't quit. And we need people like you and your organization and people out there continue to work hard. But because none of this is easy, when I thought it should have been easy. That's all. Hey, Lana, how can people find out more about what you do? Website.
We would love it if our website's very easy. It's LLAW, Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse Watch.org. You can follow us on Twitter or X at Reform Louisiana, and we're also on Facebook.
All right. Thank you, darling. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, could you imagine pushing up the legislative elephant? You got the back end, and then it unloads on you. We'll take a break. Be right back. More to come. News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
Back on the Hill, I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Dr. Anthony Fauci is testifying publicly in Congress for the first time in 2 years at a hearing about the origins of and response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ohio House Republican Brad Wenstrup.
While policy decisions should have been based on scientific data, some frankly were not.
The accusation being circulated that I influenced these scientists to change their minds by bribing them with millions of dollars in grant money is absolutely false and simply preposterous.
Dr. Fauci denies taking any part in any sort of cover-up. Hunter Biden's gun trial starts today with jury selection.
I am the president, but also a dad, President Biden says in a statement on the opening day of his son Hunter Biden's federal trial in Delaware. In a statement, the president says he won't comment on the pending federal cases, but as a dad has boundless love for his son and says Hunter's resilience in the face of adversity and strength in his recovery are inspiring. The First Lady, Jill Biden, arrived at the court in Wilmington on her 73rd birthday ahead of jury selection getting underway. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
President Biden's expected to announce new limits on asylum seekers no later than tomorrow, joined at an announcement by the mayors of Brownsville and Edinburgh, Texas.
The White House has been teasing executive action on the U.S. southern border for months. The president is going to make an announcement before he departs for Europe. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, says no matter what Biden does now, it's going to be too little too late. The White House plans to shut off asylum requests and automatically deny entry to migrants each day on a daily basis once the number of people encountered by border officials reaches a set cap number.
Fox's Jillian Turner at the White House. The president's also congratulating Claudia Sheinbaum for her presidential election victory in Mexico. She's Mexico's first woman president. America's listening to Fox News.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and there are thousands of rave reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today. And see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, PROTECT to 989898.
Message. Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Hi, I'm Dale Brown, best-selling techno-thriller author. I'm also a mission pilot and squadron commander in the Civil Air Patrol. The members of the Civil Air Patrol are volunteer professionals who serve their communities and their nation every day with emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. We train hard, we fly hard, and we get the job done for America. Join the Civil Air Patrol. Visit www.gocivilairpatrol.com and let's go flying.
Hi, I'm E.J. Williams. Each year, millions of animals are abandoned, and more than 1 million are euthanized before they can be rescued. Organizations like American Humane are working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, as animals can be trained as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help veterans, the elderly, and children with special needs to overcome the obstacles of everyday life. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Cities around Lafayette Parish are growing and fast. What are the mayors doing to keep up, and how does that affect you? We find out every Wednesday morning at 7 when we talk to the leaders of each city about what they're doing and what they plan to do as more residents and businesses move in. Tune in for Mayor's Minutes, Wednesday morning at 7 on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, on air and on the KPEL app.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great day. Great to be with you. Monday, best day of the work week. We don't need any rain for a while. Not in my house. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, 844-766-6607. You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. moon@moongriffon.com. And I appreciate Ms. Venable calling in, talking about judicial hellhole. But if you notice, they busting their fannies to make this happen. And by the way, Walker, did you get that piece I said you? Okay. I'm going to play a little commercial that they're running on the House side, which has nothing to do with the Senate. I'll get to that in just a second. But she, stepped in the right direction is all I can count for. Yet Texas, they changed their laws. Top business state in the country, one of the top. Florida, one of the top. They just passed all kind of laws. Why? A Republican governor and the House and the Senate were mostly Republican. They passed it. Not here. Oh, no, baby. Just saying. It's absolutely ridiculous that we can't get anything done. We can't get anything done. I mean, anything big, man, like that changes our state. That's what I was so excited about. Everything that we did last year in the election cycle, and we said, wow, this is awesome. Look, we're getting ready to show them what it is. And we are passing some stuff. We don't have to worry about little kids and boys going to girls' bathrooms and all the woke stuff Edwards was doing. But you got to have a vision. You got to have a vision for the state. You got to have a vision for the state. What's the vision for the state of Louisiana? What was that? I tell you, let's go back. Bill Edwards was here for 8 years. Old bellboy. Backed in twice. Backed in twice because of Republicans. What was the vision that when he came into the state, we let him be the governor, backed in twice now because of Republicans. He was the visionary, right? What was his vision for the state when he came in office? I can tell you a couple of things. He wanted to expand that Medicaid. Oh, matter of fact, when he left, he said it was the best thing he did was expand Medicaid. That was his vision. And the second vision was to see how much more dependency we could have on the federal government. And he laid the dependency. We are dependent on the federal government. Our budget's more dependent on the federal government than it ever has been by far. And how much federal money they can get. That's it. You tell me, I want somebody who voted for him to tell me what his vision was for education, for roads and bridges, to stop the out-migration, for jobs, for insurance, for crime. Anybody want to try to answer what was his great vision for the great state of Louisiana? And when he left, he said the best thing we did was expand Medicaid. He had no vision. That's why we went back 10 years. There was no vision for anything. Unless it had to do with federal money and raising taxes or expanding Medicaid. That was it. Jeff Landry came in with a vision to change our business climate for people so they can stay here. Young people would not have to move out of the state of Louisiana. He had a vision. Now, I hope his vision isn't going to include the tort reform stuff, because if we don't do that, the vision will die. But yet, here we go. 2/3 in the House, 2/3 in the Senate. So let me give you another example. So we tried for the education savings account. I just shared that with y'all. That old Mr. Edmondson, whatever his name is, Rick Edmondson. He got it down to where we can do a study. We're going to study it. We're going to study what to do with education savings account. All the information's out there. The lie started with the Advocate when they went, was it Parr Cable? One of them said, oh, it's going to cost $535 million. That was a lie. That was a lie from day one. The media ran with the lie. Oh, we can't do that. Look how much money it's going to cost. Nobody talked about the cost of it. But what did the media do as soon as it popped up? They went to, was it Cable? Paul, one of them. Steve Proscipio, or whatever his name was. Proscipio, or whatever his name was. It's going to cost up to $520 million. That was a lie. The media ran with it. The media ran with it, and they ran with it hard, man. I mean, and it was a lie. So they kept talking about the money. So we're doing a study. Let's go to Alabama. You know, we had to go to Florida and Texas and Tennessee and even Arkansas and Mississippi, where they're changing their business climate. They're changing what's happening with trial lawyers and tort reform. Now let's go to Alabama. Let me read the headlines. Fox News. Alabama's HB 29, Choose Act of 2024. Can I share it with you? Gives families, she signed a monumental school choice bill. Gives families up to $7,000 for pay for private school tuition. Did we get that? Why didn't we get that in Louisiana? It's going to cost too much money, according to what? According to the Advocate, who was just quoting somebody from cable who didn't know what the hell he was talking about. They doing it in Alabama. Alabama's all of a sudden better than Louisiana. We don't move anything. This is what I mean. And Ms. Venable pointed it out. We wanted some things. They're going to keep trying. We're not moving anything. So now we got the ESAs, $7,000. Allocates at least $100 million each year to fund educational savings account. Why couldn't we have funded $100 million? Which would have been a lot different than what cable and the devil's advocate, was shoving down our face as facts. It's going to cost $521 million. Thing didn't even start for another year. But $100 million. Set to be available by 2025-26 school year. So they're going to wait one more year. Because as you know, next school year is 24-25 for you people that live in Balkanville. The following year, not us. We're going to do a study. Our study's going to come out December 1st. Ain't that nice? A good old study. That's what we need, some more studies. Alabama, moving on it. Every state moves on things but us. I'm talking about the real issues. People that voted for Bill Edwards, God bless you. They know what the heck you were doing. You voted for somebody with no wisdom, no vision at all. For nothing. He had no vision for anything. Except for himself, because now he's making a lot of money on the Green New Deal, the biggest lie that's ever been told. The biggest lie. By the way, my climates are at 10:30. I can't help. I bring him on every day. But Bob Marshall wrote an article, Who's to Blame for High Insurance Rates? Look in the mirror. It's one of the dumbest articles I ever read in my life, how we ought to blame ourselves. I just can't wait to share this with you. I'll do that in the next segment a little bit to set up Stephen Parr. But here's Alabama. They didn't do a study. They didn't water it down. They passed it. It's not what we do here. We water it down. We seem to water down everything. There is no drive from the people who are elected to change anything. And that's so frustrating to me. Great state, great people, watching them leave left and right. I'd like to know how many people that are my age or a little older, most of them a little older, that are moving to another state because that's where their kids and grandkids are. I mean, I'm so sick of hearing that it just blows me away. So here's Alabama moving it on, not us. We're doing a study. Here's Texas, Bedley, Florida. They just did a big old package, tort reform and stuff like that. They passed it with no problem. Not us. We got to pass some, not pass some, water down some, maybe veto some. I just want to win. I want to win. I want us to win. I want everybody to win. You can't win doing the same stuff we did last year and the year before and 10 years and 20 and 30 and 40 years ago. I'm still waiting for somebody. I've asked this question before. Somebody just texted me there are two guys. They out of here. They're saying there's two guys that are leaving the state. That they are gone. Just got my text of a man that was sitting at the UCF fight. He said the clapping for Donald Trump was so loud you couldn't even hear. And they said the F-bomb Biden was chanted several times. But that ain't what I want to know as much. Oh, man, so loud is what they put, and they were there. That's what I'm telling you. They have to. I'm just telling you what I think. They have to put him in jail. Because the left is nasty and evil and filthy. Anyway, let me take a break. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's the Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. All right, got to take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's SEA like the ocean, SAFE.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. All right, I want to play a piece. The House put this. Well, somebody put this out with the House. The House in Baton Rouge has really led the way for good legislation. Cameron half-ass Henry in the Senate actually devastated it. But they put out a video that really is pretty good. It's the lawmakers talking about what they did. They really did in the House. The problem is you got to have the Senate, too. I'm just going to play this little short clip, about 1:30. It's kind of a commercial, but it tells you everything the House did for the Senate only to get in the way. Here we go.
One of the biggest issues facing Louisiana citizens is the rising cost of home and auto insurance.
But the Louisiana House Republicans are listening to the voters and taking action.
We have passed several pieces of important legislation off the House floor designed to make insurance available and affordable for hardworking Louisiana families and businesses.
Our legislation will bring transparency and fairness to the claims handling process,
while encouraging insurance companies to invest in the Louisiana market based on competition and free market principles.
The House of Representatives has sent reform bills to the state Senate that will stabilize the property insurance market
and bring critical legal reforms to commercial and personal auto insurance.
We have also prepared a state budget that continues to fund the Fortified Roof Program.
To ensure that we are building homes and businesses to sustain the fiercest storms.
Insurance in Louisiana is overregulated, overlitigated, and overpriced.
Our insurance reform package is based on proven policies that are working in other states.
Because having unique food and music makes Louisiana great.
But having unique and burdensome insurance regulations only makes insurers run away and leaves policyholders with no options and little hope.
Fortunately, Louisiana House Republicans are offering real solutions for the Louisiana families who elected us.
That's it. All right. So they put that out, and they didn't put it out, but I don't know if it was Trucking Association or somebody put that out. There was a lot of work done in the House only to be shot down in the Senate. I'm just telling you what happened, folks. It's just the way it is. And the Senate will tell you, well, they're the mature group. No, they're the dumb group. That's the most liberal group. That's the most leftist group. I don't care if your state senator's a dang conservative or not. There ain't enough of them. Somebody made a good point, said, Moon, the ratio 2/3, but it's 2/3 Democrats and rhinos and 1/3 Republicans. Well, 1/3 conservatives. Very unfortunate that we, the constituents, when a politician is running in office, that we don't have a simple way of knowing who the rhino and true conservative is. These people lie. Yeah, they do. And Greg thinks they do. I get it. We do the best we can with it. But some areas will put them in there because they bring home money. They don't really care what their philosophy of life is or their ideology. They don't care. So you got to understand that we're dealing with this and that, that's what Republicans have done. That's why I've always said, give me a Democrat in a foxhole. The other thing is, Bob Marshall, who I think they ought to contributing columnist to the Devil's Advocate, they ought to take away his pen. Who is to blame for high insurance rate? Look in the mirror. And I just want to share something. I'm going to share this with the climate czar. He says, voters blame insurance companies. Commissioner Temple blames protection for ratepayers. And the legislative and Governor Landry were too busy worried about bathrooms, libraries, Second Amendment, face reality. But the answer was easily seen from the Capitol building's 27th floor observation deck. You can spot it gushing in smokestacks in the refineries and chemical plants circling the city with tailpipes and traffic jams from giant oil tankers and barges chugging down river loaded with coal. These people are nuts. This guy's a nut. It's the fossil fuels mix mined from the earth burned and releases of greenhouse gas emissions for the profits of some and the easy lifestyles of most and the permanent expensive agony of everyone else. Human-caused climate change, the reality our governor and many others refuse to acknowledge, is the cause of our financial pain. This dude's blaming, this dude's a nut. He deserves the right on the advocate. Climate change has made Louisiana one of the riskiest places anywhere for insurance. Folks, this guy's a sicko. Then he starts quoting how many named storms. Hell, I'm going to get it right. I'm naming between 1 and 49. Well, they naming between 17 and 25. Why the wide variety? Because they don't want to be right. This guy's a nut. This guy's telling people lies in the newspaper every time the Devil's Advocate lets it rise. Well, I got a guy that's a real meteorologist. By the way, he throws Landry under the bus. He throws anybody under the bus that don't believe in the science. Well, what science was there in mask? What science? Now the famous climatologist Jeff Landry may still disagree with the science showing humans are primarily responsible. We ain't responsible at all. We're not. It's not even close because there's not a problem. You got to have a problem. They created a problem, then they're backing up to blame people. Bob Marshall of the Devil's Advocate. I don't know who the sicko is. This dude's warped. He's a warped cat. That's it. He's a warped cat. They let him tell people all these crazy stuff over and over and over and over again. We're going to straighten it up. We got the climate czar coming. I just want to keep y'all up to date on the lies that come out of these newspapers on this. Take a break. Be back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Folks, it's May, so Schumacher Homes is making deals. Have you ever thought about building your dream home? No time like today to start building. My friends over at Schumacher Homes want to help make your vision come true with their newest special offer. You ready? Now through May 31st, save up to $50,000 on your custom home. You heard me right. $50,000 on your custom homes. All you got to do is go to SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com, they take you from the start to finish, and they know what they're doing, and they're great. They have built so many homes. Schumacher Homes wants to help you turn your custom homes into the dream you've always wanted by, guess what? Saving up to $50,000 on options, upgrades to get a home that was designed just for you, your custom home. No pressure in the process means no appointment is necessary to tour the model homes. Go by and check them out or stop by the self-guided tour and start visualizing yourself in a Schumacher home. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Save up to $50,000 on options. That's awesome. Your custom home, Schumacher Home. From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwood stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see that stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company.
LA 22.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Beautiful Monday, last day of the session. We'll see. We'll know weeks and months up the road what they actually did. There'll be definitely some wins. And we'll hopefully have some people on as the week shows and get some of these reps and senators. Hopefully hear from the governor. Heard from him a lot during the session. Hadn't heard back from him lately, but hopefully he'll come on and do a little recap. All right, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Stephen Parr, the Moon Griffon climate czar, meteorologist, a real one. He doesn't play one. He is one. Stephen, how you doing?
Moon, doing great. How are you today, sir?
Doing super, man. It's Monday. I always say the best day of the work week. And I got the whole week to get it right, brother. Of everything I probably messed up last week. All right, Stephen.
There's so much opportunity sitting out there.
I know, Stephen. All right, Stephen. By the way, Stephen, my prediction's coming true. It's going to be hot this summer, but I hadn't missed that one in a long time. So I got a little bit of, I'll send it to you. Bob Marsh, I don't know why they give him an ink pen, blames high insurance rates. Look in the mirror. I just want to quote one thing real quick. He says, the answer was easily seen from the Capitol building's 27th floor observation deck. You can spot it in the gushing smokestacks, in the refineries and chemical plants circling the city, from tailpipes and traffic jams, and from giant oil tankers and barges chugging down river loaded with coal. And because of our gain for profit and easy lifestyles, this is why this is going on. By the way, I just want to make a point. Everybody likes the easy lifestyle, but what I really want is I want to be able to eat. I want to be able to cool my house down in the summer and heat it up in the winter and be able to go out there and produce. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, people complain about. There's an article I saw earlier that talked about how many deaths there were last summer because of the heat. Well, the number one way we fight that death rate in the summer because of heat is through air conditioning, which we make using fossil fuels. Absolutely. It's much more efficient than trying to cool down your house with solar or with wind.
Hey, Stephen, do you think Bob Marshall has air conditioning in his house and car? I'm just asking, if you were a betting man, what would you bet?
Yeah, actually, I think it would be unconscionable to build a house in the South without air conditioning in it. I think that would be cruel and unusual punishment.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Now, he said, in that article, he said you can see, that's the word, words have meaning. He said you can see the problem coming out of the smokestacks, coming out of the tailpipe, coming out of the coal and the barges and all that, right? Mm-hmm. Moon, you can't. If he's blaming carbon dioxide, you can't see carbon dioxide coming out of the tailpipe. You can't see carbon dioxide coming out of those smokestacks. Carbon dioxide is a clear gas. You can't see it. Now, he later on makes fun of Jeff Landry for being a supposed climatologist, but what kind of a scientist are you if you think you can see carbon dioxide? The only time you can see carbon dioxide is when it's in either the solid state, as what they call dry ice, remember that whole dry ice thing? Or when it's evaporating out of the, technically transpirating out of that dry ice formula, and it's flowing down, and that's when it's super cold. It's not coming out of a smokestack super cold. You can't see it. So before you start telling me that Jeff Landry's scientific bona fides aren't any good, I'm going to need to see yours if you think you can see carbon dioxide.
Yeah, great. Well, but these people like this, they don't care about proof. They just quote things like the scientists and the government is now seeing everything we need. And that's why when I read this article, I thought about you. I said, how do people like this get a chance? Right? Because there's a lot more of them putting out this kind of crap than there are you putting out the truth. A lot more.
That's why there's a quote on my wall. I've got a wall full of quotes here in my office, and there are things that I need to remind me of on a regular basis. And one of them is Albert Einstein, and it says, unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of the truth. Mm-hmm. If you are a journalist, your job is to seek out the truth. And if you don't even question people who say that you can see the problem coming out of smokestacks, then you aren't writing down the truth.
Yeah, but they keep... Matter of fact, in the article, he goes on to talk about human-caused climate change, the reality our governor and many others refuse to acknowledge is the cause of the financial pain dealing with insurance rates. Now, Stephen, how big do you think the Gulf of Mexico is compared to the whole world? I'm just kind of curious if you have a thought process on, is it bigger than a gnat's, a pimple on a gnat's rear end? I'm just asking.
Compared to the rest of the world, I do think the Gulf of Mexico is probably bigger than a pimple on a gnat's rear, although it depends upon the size of the pimple, if we're getting technical about it here. But, look, it is a fairly large body of water. It's nowhere near as large as the Atlantic, which, of course, is nowhere near as large as the Pacific. Mm-hmm. But here's the part of the article from a scientific standpoint that really bothered me. So he's trying to say, first of all, the state that has the highest homeowners insurance is not Louisiana. It's Oklahoma. And the reason is that the homeowners insurance is mostly driven up by wind and hail. Well, Oklahoma gets a lot more wind and hail than Northwest Louisiana does. Now, we still have not just Northwest Louisiana, but all of Louisiana. We still have our issues with wind and hail, not as much hail as Oklahoma does. So that's what's driving that cost. The state with the highest car insurance costs is Florida, and Florida does get more problems coming in with hurricanes and things like that. They're just more exposed to it than Louisiana. Louisiana's going to be second on the list. Texas is going to be number third. So there is some natural stuff on there, but those things have been happening long before we started putting carbon dioxide out into the atmosphere. We were getting hurricanes since before Columbus arrived in North America, and he came by wind power. Mm-hmm. The article quotes scientists saying that the Gulf of Mexico has warmed 3 times as fast as the rest of the planet since 2010. Now, I have so many problems with that statement from a climatological standpoint. One, if it's supposed to be global warming, why is it the Gulf of Mexico is warming faster than the rest of the planet? I thought the problem was the whole planet was warming.
Correct.
Okay. 2, let's say the Gulf of Mexico is warming faster than the rest of the planet, and it's carbon dioxide's fault. You have dozens of computer models that predict the future based on the idea that carbon dioxide is driving up the climate. Moon, there is not one single climate model that predicted the Gulf of Mexico would be warming faster than the Atlantic Basin or any other oceanic basin across the country. So if it's warming in a way that your models don't predict, then either the Gulf of Mexico's wrong or your models are wrong, but either way, somebody's wrong, and it's not me. Third, you've gone back and picked 2010 as your start date. That gives us 14 years of data. 14 years of data. Okay. Moon, the standard amount of years for a climate average is 30 years of data, more than twice what they've picked. So why did you pick 2010? 14 years of data is not statistically significant for a climate standpoint. That NOAA uses a 30-year running average. So if you're picking 14 years as your start date for the Gulf of Mexico warming 3 times as fast as the rest of the planet, you got to tell me why. Yeah. Was the Gulf of Mexico
No, I can stop. Let me tell you why. Because it makes the argument that it's getting warmer. That's it. That's they're not basing on facts or science. You taught me this. When they start taking dates, what happened before those dates? And you're telling me taking 14 years. What happened? I don't know if you did it, but did you go back and look at the 16 years before that?
Right, and I haven't, but whoever wrote that paper saying it started in 2010, they certainly could have. So why haven't they?
Yeah.
And again, the article makes fun of Jeff Landry, says that world famous climatologist Jeff Landry.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you're writing the article and you think 14 years is a valid standpoint in climate? You talk about a pimple on the butt of a gnat.
Yeah.
In terms of historical data, that's nothing.
But that's why they do it, because they're not worried about somebody questioning them. They're writing it as facts. You're coming back and saying, whoa, just a second, Mr. Whoever he is. Let's look at this. They don't care. The devil's advocate in the media doesn't care. Get this out, get this out, get this out. Don't worry about nobody questioning you.
Let's create a false narrative where we can shame a politician in the party we don't like, and using dubious data that we don't bother to question because we have unthinking respect for authority.
Yep.
The writers for The Advocate have unthinking respect for authority, which Albert Einstein said makes them the greatest enemy of truth.
Well, they are enemies anyway. Let's take a break. Stephen Parr, you can only get this kind of info from here, folks. Stephen Parr, my climate czar, a real meteorologist, not the fake crap that you read in The Devil's Advocate, and boy, that's fake. Take a break. Be right back. This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, HUDCO Roofing. Now, I know we all want a roof over our heads, but not just any roof. We want one that can withstand Louisiana's wild weather. That's where HUDCO Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the top dogs in the business. Whether you need repairs or a brand new roof, HUDCO Roofing has you covered. HUDCO is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there are no hidden damages. HUDCO Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the fortified roofing system, and that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. HUDCO specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings, serving all of Louisiana. Get a free roof inspection and quote from HUDCO Roofing right now. Go to HUDCOroofing.com. That's HUDCOroofing.com. Fill out the form, and someone will get right back to you. This is Moon Griffon. I trust HUDCO Roofing of Louisiana, and so should you. That's HUDCOroofing.com. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full-service AC and heating company, repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts, AC Service Repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com.
Chestnut Brothers.
Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Stephen Parr, my climate czar, with us today again. Hey, Stephen, I don't want to jump out the article, but I do want to go back to something because the advocate, the devil's advocate, I'm still convinced these people get paid to do this. That's me. That's not you. But I'm convinced they got to be getting paid to write the crap that they write. But they also had a deal. How many hurricanes have hit or impacted Louisiana? The list from 1527. Now, I got to tell you, I looked at it. Pre-1800s, a ton of them in New Orleans area. But was New Orleans, if you look back at pre-1800, how many people you think lived in New Orleans pre-1800s? How many buildings you think were built in pre-1800s? There was the Mississippi River. Did they take the Mississippi River and change its flow? By the 1800s. I'm just kind of curious because there's a lot of storms between the 1500s and the 1990s. Like a bunch of them.
And odds are they don't record all of them that are in there. To say that all the impact on the Louisiana coast, the population that was writing stuff down and recording it wasn't really spread out across the entire Louisiana coast. So they may have missed some of the smaller storms, or may not have called them hurricanes. A tropical storm, something along those lines, could have come in. A Cat 1 could have come through, and they might not have necessarily recorded that. So, before the 1800s, your recordings, your climate records are really sketchy at best, especially before the 1880s or so.
What about the storms that pop up now and they stay out in the ocean that they like to count now? Do you think they were counting those before 1900?
Well, before the 1700s, there were a handful of boats in the entire Atlantic Ocean at any given time. Before 1492, there weren't any in the Atlantic Ocean at any given time. They'd be along the coasts of Europe and Africa, but not out into the middle, and so they would have missed every single one of them. In the 1500s, they would have missed the vast majority. You wouldn't have really, until you really start getting transatlantic trade going, especially in the 1700s, you wouldn't have been recording those very well at all. And how many ships would have, if they encounter one of these storms, they just are lost at sea, and they just record it lost at sea, not lost at sea due to, Hurricane Arbuckle or whatever.
But you got to believe once they figured out that, you had to keep sending stuff back and forth, you have to believe that they ran into a hurricane sometime, and it was just total devastation.
Completely, because
everything was dead and gone.
Moon, I've been thinking about this all week, and I wanted to come back. I'm so glad you asked me back on, because I wanted to share this idea with you. Right now, the left is trying to say we need to stop the climate from changing.
Yeah.
Okay? In my mind, that's a form of playing God. It's like back in Genesis when they tried to build the Tower of Babel, right? They wanted to build the Tower of Babel so they could get up and they could be God. They could get to heaven all the way up. And God says, no, I don't want you doing that. I don't want you playing God, right? But Jesus comes around and Jesus says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to build your house on rock. Don't build your house on sand. Don't build your house on dirt that's going to move around. Build your house on rock. Moon, instead of us trying to change the planet, instead of us trying to change climate, we need to be focusing on building our houses and our buildings so that they are resilient, so that when the wind blows and the waves crash, we can withstand the storm. That's the instruction that we've been given in a biblical sense, not to try and change the planet, but to build our structures so that they can withstand. We need to be focused on all these billions of dollars we're spending on tilting after windmills. We should have been spending some of that money focusing on how to make homes more durable. And a great example of this was back in the 1980s and 1990s. They were really studying how do you make houses more resilient to hurricanes. And they came up with what we now call hurricane clips. And hurricane clips are now the law in the state of Louisiana. If you're building a house, you have to have hurricane clips in that roof to try and keep the roof on when the hurricane comes.
Yes,
and as a result, we deal with fewer houses getting destroyed by the same level of a storm that would have been hitting in the 1970s. Yeah. Why do we stop doing that? Why do we stop focusing on resiliency and instead start trying to say we should be playing God?
Yeah, and also you got fortified roofing now, which is supposed to help people that are in those areas. Supposed to really help it. And so there are people come up with invention, but we foolishly spending money on the hoax, which is climate change. Although climate change is not a hoax in itself, the way they're using it is a hoax, blaming man. So God put man here, and man's going to destroy ourselves because of we breathing out carbon dioxide. I mean, this is such idiotic stuff. But this is the norm. This is what's taught in them universities. This is what's taught from newspapers to people who read stupid stuff like Bob Marshall writes. I mean, you just waylaid him, and I don't mean you waylaid him on purpose. You just stated fact over fiction. You just stated it right there.
because the article was nonsense, and the article was written with political intent, not for scientific reporting.
Let me ask you a question.
He bought into a falsehood, and he was trying to use his falsehood to demonize Republicans. That was the whole point of it.
But if you take away all the money and all the politics, we would be doing none of this. This is not science. This is not scientific. This ain't what God intended when he put us here. Okay, we're going to take away everything I gave y'all to be blessed. Fossil fuels, you would have to agree. That's what's blessed us more than anything. In our
More
jobs.
than anything.
Yeah, in our jobs. It's tearing America down is what you're doing. In our jobs, and our families, and our growth, and being cooler, being warmer, cooking food, growing food, all that is based off of what God gave us in the fossil fuels. And these people want to take it away, and they think we're radical.
Exactly. You know, there's a college professor. He's a statistics professor, and he was really into the green movement. And he went out and he said, you know what, I am going to apply my statistics. I'm going to use science to prove this whole green stuff, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to shame people with that. And so he goes out and he writes this book called The Skeptical Environmentalist, because he wanted to use his facts and his data to back up what he was believing. And what he ended up finding was that, no, statistically speaking, and he still believes in carbon dioxide affecting the climate more than I do, but he says we're wasting money trying to stop the planet from warming. Whereas if we would just focus on the good that electricity is provided, especially in very, very poor places across the planet, he still talks about how one of the leading causes of death in Africa is that people don't have electricity to even cook their food. So they're burning animal dung inside their homes, and they're breathing that in every day, and that ultimately leads to a shortened life, and it kills them. Whereas if we had coal plants in parts of Africa, they would be able to get clean water, they would be able to get cooking fuel, and they wouldn't be killing themselves with the smoke from animal poop trying to cook their food.
Yeah, unbelievable what we're watching in America. I don't know what's a bigger lie. The trans movement of boys, girls, boys, or the green movement, or wearing a mask for a virus that's so small it can run through a mask easy. I mean, it's just one makeup as they go. It's just frustrating to watch, and that's why I got you back on, because you're bringing science and facts. And, yeah, I love a little Jesus in it, too, because that's where it all started. It just doesn't make any sense for people to keep buying into what they've done at these universities and the newspapers.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Stephen, thank you so much, man. I wonder why global warming was causing all them hurricanes back in the 15th, 16th, 17th century. Unbelievable, huh? All right, brother, thank you here.
Thanks, man.
All right, Stephen Parr, Climate Czar. Folks, the rest of y'all leaving. God bless. You can listen to another hour on moongrafone.com. Listen live. We'll be right back.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
He's back on the Capitol Hill Grill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Dr. Anthony Fauci, now the former head of the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, again denying any cover-up about the origins of COVID and a possible lab leak in China.
The one thing I know for sure is that the viruses that were funded by the NIH phylogenetically could not be the precursor of SARS-CoV-2.
Fauci still says he keeps an open mind because he says no one can account for other things that might be going on in China. Virginia Republican Congressman Morgan Griffith.
Experts you convened as a team, privately worried that a research-related incident was a possible, if not the probable, origin of the virus.
Fauci denies trying to skew the origin discussion in any direction. Maryland Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin accusing Republicans of trying to drag Fauci's name through the mud.
They're treating you, Dr. Fauci, like a convicted felon. Actually, you probably wish they were treating you like a convicted felon. They treat convicted felons with love and admiration. Some of them blindly worship convicted felons.
An apparent reference to former President Trump, who plans to appeal last week's conviction for falsifying business records. Jury selection underway for President Biden's son Hunter in a federal gun case.
Prosecutors maintain Hunter Biden falsely claimed on a federal form that he was not a drug user when he bought a gun in 2018. Hunter's attorneys say they'll challenge that assertion, that form, and other specifics of these charges.
Fox's Rich Edson. First Lady Jill Biden is at the courthouse in Wilmington, along with Hunter's sister and his wife. President Biden, who spent the weekend with his son, released a written statement saying he won't comment on pending federal cases, but that he has boundless love for his son, praising his resilience and strength in his recovery. The president attends a campaign event later today in Connecticut. America is listening to Fox News.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and there are thousands of rave reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today. And see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, PROTECT to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
An American family is still trying to find out if their son is alive after his arrest last month in Congo.
The U.S. Embassy in Congo says authorities there have not shared details or allowed access to the Americans who were arrested following a coup attempt by opposition figure Christian Malanga on May 19th. Malanga, who has previously declared himself Congo's president in exile, live streamed the attempt to overthrow the government with his son Marcel, who was born in Utah. Malanga was shot to death and Marcel was taken into custody, along with a second American, 21-year-old Tyler Thompson Jr. Thompson's family says the two were high school football teammates and that he was flown to Africa for what they believed was a vacation paid for by Malanga. No word on whether they'll appear in court.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The White House just confirming that Vice President Harris will represent the U.S. at this month's Swiss-organized Global Peace Summit on the war in Ukraine. The White House says she'll underscore support for the Ukrainian people and territorial integrity while also supporting the effort to secure a just and lasting peace. There's a new #1 on YouTube.
Mr. Beast is officially the most subscribed channel on YouTube. Jimmy Donaldson, who runs the channel, known for its elaborate challenges and extravagant giveaways, posted on X that Mr. Beast had reached over 266 million subscribers, passing the popular Indian music channel T-Series. His subscriber count has now soared to 269 million. While T-Series currently has around 266 million. The content creator saying, quote, "We have finally avenged PewDiePie," referring to a fellow YouTuber who held the top spot until T-Series overtook him in 2019. Monica DeLuca, Fox News.
It's mixed on Wall Street, but a sell-off for the Dow. It's down 242. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
Pack your bags. We want to send you and a guest to experience the magic of Def Leppard's Summer Stadium Rock Tour this August. We want to fly you and a guest to San Antonio, Texas, where you'll see Def Leppard, Journey, and the Steve Miller Band in concert at the one and only Alamo Dome. What do you need to do? It's simple. Just listen to News Talk 96.5 KPEL weekdays for the codes you'll need to enter. Every day between now and June 7th at 9, 12, and 3 p.m., you're going to get a code. Enter that into the KPEL app, and you've got a chance to win. You'll get 2 tickets to see Def Leppard with Journey and the Steve Miller Band at the Alamo Dome on Friday, August 16th. Round-trip airfare for 2 to San Antonio, a 2-night hotel stay, and $500 spending money. If you don't have the KPEL app, you need to download it immediately. Listen every day at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 3 p.m. for your chance to win tickets to the Summer Stadium Rock Tour with Def Leppard and Journey on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.